Welcome, dear listeners. We are three IB students and we just finished our exams and we wanted to share some of our experience, some of our struggles, and some advices for future IB takers or non IB takers so they know better what they're doing.
Yes. Uh, we have decided to depart our knowledge of the IB diploma program onto our peers and onto those younger to us, and maybe help them decide if IB is the right choice for them. Maybe plan out their time better, uh, make the right steps whilst doing the IB program.
Right, my name is Ilya, and joining me here today are.
Pavol and
Hayden.
All right. So, Hayden, would you just explain very quickly what the IB program is for those who might not be as familiar with it as us?
Yeah, sure. So the IB program is a 2-year long program where you pick 6 subjects, which you then basically graduate from by having long exams, very long exams, considering we just finished some. And it's overall just like an international diploma, very similar to other courses such as AP or the A levels.
Great. And why did you personally choose IB over other
Oh,
things?
that's a good question. I think IB gave me proper skills to prepare me for university, considering I did do AP. I did one AP during high school before I started IB, and from that experience, I realized that I don't think AP will give me the necessary skills to succeed in college or future in my studies, as IB is much more um, writing heavy and assessment heavy than AP. And me personally, I just like the challenge. Um, it's a nice preparation. That's why I probably chose it.
yeah, very nice.
For me personally, it was quite similar. I've not been familiar with the IB program before I came to the school, and so when I learned about it and learned about all the opportunities and all the skills I would get through it, it sounded very enticing to me. And what about you, Pablo?
Well, for me, I transferred from a different school to QSI, and I had the choice to choose between the normal QSI study path or the IB diploma. And I chose the IB diploma because I feel like it gave me more opportunities, more bigger chance of getting to the universities I wanted to get into as well. And because of how respect in the world it is, I thought that that was the right path for me, and that's why I chose IB initially.
And guys, what did we expect from IB? I know for me personally, I expected a journey, a 2 year journey that will fill me with many challenges, but also many opportunities to learn and to really be prepared for my life after it.
Yeah, well, for me, I feel like the expectation that I had coming into IB was okay, this is a tough program. Everyone told me it would be hell on earth. Everyone told me I would barely survive. And so I braced myself a bit, but the difficult part never came during these 2 years. I felt like, okay, so when does it get more difficult? It was really easy going through the 2 years. And towards the end of the second year, I found out why it was so easy. Uh, because you're supposed to divide your time nicely, and well, that's something I failed at. And yeah, so it is, as people say, it is difficult.
Yeah, I have a very similar experience to you, Pavol, that I also didn't find it as difficult the first year, and not even the second year. But well, I mean the deadlines are always important, so people listen to your deadlines. My expectation was that it's gonna be also like hell and everything, because that's how everybody described it. But in the end, I don't think it was that hard. But maybe that's for me because I just like to do everything right off of the bat and be done with it,
I
so
do
I have time for my stuff.
I do agree
Yeah.
that the expectations were definitely set to you by previous students that described everything, and I think most of the pressure came through those expectations, through the
Yeah,
mental
true.
load you just put on yourself rather than the actual assignments. Another
Yeah,
crucial part to this, I would say, was our school's culture. Like, we are a very small school. It's like almost like a very tight-knit community. And as such, there's more expectation on yourself to perform individually or in your small groups and your small friendship and communities. And the
yeah,
teachers,
yeah.
in my personal opinion, have been very laid back with this and just let you do your own things instead of pressuring you. Like, how do you guys feel about this?
I don't know. Personally, I feel like the our like school in general is very laid back. With the exception of few other teachers in our IB courses. But I think everybody's generally very supportive. It's not as intense because I feel like everybody who does IB in our school is capable of doing the work on time and handing an appropriate and definitely um, passing um, like a document or like assessment or something, assignment. So I think it's very supportive and but very tight knit, just like you said.
Yes, yes, I very much agree. There was great support from the side of the teachers. I do have to say we've had some mishaps along the journey. Uh, some students failed to go into the second year. I think we started with 15 IB
Oh, we have
students, and the
number
next
like
year,
11, 10,
yeah,
11.
11, 10. Yes, exactly. So I feel like some of us got lost on the way, the journey through IB, and they bit off much more than they could actually chew. But I feel like the ones that stayed for the second year, they were really productive, knew what they were doing, as well as supportive uh, to one another. I felt like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there was support from my schoolmates when I was going through IB stuff. Yeah, and I think we can move on to our academic survival stories.
To our academics.
What I would call it, yeah, talking about our HL and SL subjects, high level and
No,
standard level, and
no.
what hiccups we ran into along the way. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just start off with my HLs and SLs. And for me, or I would say my biggest struggle was the online courses and the self-study courses that I took. So for me, my second year of math, which is my HL, and I would say the most demanding subject I took, was completely online for the second year. And for me, this was a real struggle. This was probably my academically um, most demanding and biggest struggle through the IB course because I'm not very good at putting the pressure on myself to perform well when there is no one I can measure myself with, when there's no teachers that go through stuff with me, and there's no one to guide me along the way. So it was a journey that I had to make myself, and that was a struggle for me. Similarly, my German, my SL, which was self-study, I have found at times that I'm a bit lost in where to go and what to do because I was doing it everything myself. And I would say the subjects we had with our teachers, I think we had great teachers. I think they really knew what they were doing. They passed on the knowledge excellently to us. So I feel like the subjects where I didn't have that person to person experience, that teacher actually teaching me, those were the ones I struggled with. What about you guys?
Yeah, I can see you. Um, I guess you struggling with the online courses. I mean, even when we saw each other in school, you were constantly like working on your math. Me and Pavol, I don't think we had any online courses, did we? I mean, I didn't.
No,
Did you?
no. I didn't have. I had self-study Slovak,
Oh
which
yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily call that a struggle, because our school's Slovak teachers still tried to help me. and I mean, she departed some great help onto me. But yeah, I feel like that was my biggest struggle, and maybe math AA. I chose that because Ilya chose it, and I didn't want to leave him there alone, and so maybe I bit off a bit more than I could chew with that subject. But I feel like I didn't have a big struggle. I didn't have an uphill climb.
And would you say with that math that you took, was it worth it in the end? Would you do it again, or would you choose the maybe subjectively easier course?
Well, I think I would probably do the same math again. I really enjoyed it. I had an excellent teacher, Ms. Agnes. She was an angel. She was very kind. She knew what she was teaching, and I feel like she
That's
was
like an
probably my
important
favorite teacher as well.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know what you're teaching, like to have a teacher who knows what you're teaching, since we all experienced a really good teacher, or like well, subjectively a really good teacher, which was very concerned in one subject, and in other subjects we had teachers who did not care as much and did not put as much effort. So I would say that even if, like, since you brought up the teachers, even like if you're discouraged by a teacher, you can still do it alone. Like, you can always have a better grade. Just, try. You need to always like put an effort into it, even though like you may be discouraged because of your teacher or something like that.
Yeah.
If
I do agree
yeah.
that it's the expectation and the load is on you, but in my opinion, the teacher makes all the difference. The teacher will make the difference whether you're prepared or not. I mean,
Mhm.
when you look at our English course, Mr. Gibson was amazing. I think he prepared me so well for the exams, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the English exams were some of the best exams I've written, even though English is one of those subjects that I never liked. I think the teacher makes all the difference. I don't know if I can
Oh yeah.
agree that much with you, Hayden.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
teacher always makes a difference. That's why even when you have like a teacher who doesn't put as much effort, you can still do it. Just like bite into it.
yeah, I feel like yeah, as you guys said, teacher is huge difference, and I feel like that's bad. One bad thing that happened in our economy course. Our teacher, I don't know if he left, if he got fired. We haven't been disclosed this information, but he disappeared mid-year, and therefore we did not have that teacher. We didn't have any means of finishing that knowledge that we still needed from economy, and yeah, as you guys said, the teacher is the main difference maker.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
how, like, I think that's also seen definitely with the IAs and other work that we had that are very unique, or maybe not unique, but very central to our course. Like, I
Yeah, yeah,
feel
definitely.
with the IAs where I had teacher feedback, where I had more teacher feedback, I would perform better. And in general, the IAs, like, what do you think about them? I mean, at the beginning of the year, all the information about IB was dumped on me. The subjects, the HLs, the SLs, extended essays, IAs, TOK things, HL essays. It
Oh
was,
yeah, yeah.
I think in the beginning of the year, for me, it was really overwhelming to think about everything that needs to be done. And I think that's why I put more pressure than needed on myself. And in the end, when it came to writing the AAs, especially when you had teacher support, they weren't as scary as it might have seemed at first.
Yeah,
Yep,
they
I
would actually
agree.
be easy. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
like we were forced to believe that IB is just something incredibly difficult, which for some it might be, but uh, with the right preparation and with the right support from the teachers, I feel like almost everyone can cruise through the course pretty easily.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I think
exactly. I mean, um, the only difference that which is done is the the workload which changes when you have an HL or an SL subject, since in HL you cover more and maybe you need to have an extra assignment like internally assessed assignment, and SL is not as content heavy as HL, so it is very wise to choose whichever subject you want and maybe know if you just want to score high points and take maybe easier HLs, or if you want to challenge yourself and take the HLs like hard ones, maybe the ones that you require. There's it requires a lot of pre-thinking, um considering the workload and everything before you go into IB with this like internally assessed work.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Your HLs and SLs do make a big difference on how you score, for especially for some subjects. I mean, I think for other subjects it's not at all the case. I mean, for English, there was what we had one HL essay we had extra to do. I mean, yeah, I think the choice is quite important. But let's move on to one thing that is really unique to IB, and that's TOK. Like personally, when I first heard of TOK, I was like, "What is this nonsense?" So it's like you want to teach us how to think. You want to like, is this just philosophy? But at the end of the course, I was really glad that we took TOK and that we had such a great TOK teacher because he really teaches you how to think. Like for um, definitely what the IB expects of you, how the IB expects you to think, but also just generally to think more analytically and to really understand things that maybe this is what set the IB course apart from other courses the most.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
true, true.
think IB doesn't want you to consume knowledge endlessly. I feel like IB wants you to actually think about the information that you're being told, to actually think on your own, not to just read a page of a book and just consume that. So I feel like IB prepares you for life really nicely. IB helps you to actually use your own brain in tough situations.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, me personally, I really enjoyed TOK. I mean, at the start, I didn't really like it because I found it very boring, but also the start was like September, October, so it was very gloomy, and having TOK the first period and thinking really hard was kind of more difficult than I thought. But honestly, as the time went on, I found it much more enjoyable because I also kind of found myself in the ideas that we were discussing, and I honestly, um, in the second half of the first year, up until this second year, I found it very, very enjoyable. And I feel like if you listen, it can really. I think this is one of the classes which give you the global citizen status that everybody talks about in IB, where you get to really think critically about your surroundings and yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that what you're saying, Hayden, is true. Uh, IB also prepares you for that global stage, for that global knowledge that you need, and other compared to other subjects or other diploma programs, even, uh, it gives you the most. I think it allows you to use your own thinking, use your own concepts, and therefore I think IB was the right choice for us.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
can
agree.
see it. I can see.
So let's talk about the struggle that everyone always warned us about and that everyone keeps talking about, like the stress and the pressure. How did you guys, were you as stressed and pressured as you expected, or like, and how
Hmm.
did you deal with it, guys?
Honestly, me
Well,
personally, I wasn't really stressed or I don't know, but that's just my nature. I wasn't ever really stressed that much. The only thing I kind of regret is leaving my math IA last minute. I think that's the only IA I left last minute. Um, so honestly, if you do your work on time, I don't think it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that, I really like to expand on that. If you do your work on time, for
Yeah.
me, I always struggle to start on assessments that just feel so big, you know? Um, your IAs and other things, when it comes to stress and pressure, they aren't different. They aren't that different from other essays you'll have written all throughout your school career, you know? It's just all this. For me personally, I did have a lot of stress and pressure, but everything was just put on by myself before I did the assignments. Like once you start them, they're not that difficult. And I agree, I did push off a lot of things way later than I should have, which made my year one a lot more relaxed, but made my year two a lot more stressed and pressured. But I think that's a very mental thing where you just put it on yourself because IB just feels so big, it feels so new, but it's not really new. It's all things you've done before. So for me personally, how did I deal with the stress and the pressure and how did I recover? I don't know. I think in the end, you just had to bite down and go through it. And I think what did help me recover and what did help me get through it is having my friends around me go through similar things, having like a community of people who have the same problems and have the same struggles, maybe the same stress. And I think that really did make a difference for me.
Yeah. Well, for
Yeah.
me, I used our counselor, Miss Junura, our I think she's a school psychologist, and I feel like she was a great help when I came to her and told her I was struggling with procrastination and that am not able to divide my time properly. She sat me down, we went through a plan, we made a timetable, and that really helped me. I looked for the help where I needed it, and well, I received it, which I'm very, very thankful for. And I think that's what helped me the most. And also regarding my mental health, as Ilya said, great support from many friends and also my schoolmates, as well as teachers. If I came to a teacher and told them that I was struggling with some kind of a area of knowledge, um, they would always help me. They was always support me and help me find a solution to my problem.
Yeah, I think that's also a very important thing. You need to reach out when you need help. For me, it is also one of the struggles I had. It's difficult to reach out and ask for help, but it's really important. And if you do, it's going to make your life so much easier in IB.
Yes, I feel like IB. Many people think of IB as like, okay, this is like
Your
something
own
tough
lone
and
thing.
it's a journey that you have to take on your own. But I think reaching out for help or like even studying together with, for example, your friend is not a bad idea. Asking for that help, having that support, I think that never hurts.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
there's
that's part of like the skills also IB develops
yeah
in
that
me and
you
how it
yeah
really does change you.
yeah that you like kind of
Where
work with
before,
other people. Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought in the beginning that IB would teach me how to be like more of a lone wolf, you know, how to do things, everything by myself. But I think that's not what IB is about at all. It teaches you how to work better also in communities and together with people.
Yes, I agree. I think the diploma program is structured in a way to give you better understanding of the world, but not only the world, but just our society, and you makes you feel like you're a part of that community.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
guys, how else did IB like change you or shape who you are now or make you the person that you are now? How are you like? What did you learn there that's very different from other programs?
Honestly, me personally, I feel like the content was the content we cover in IB is very broad and gives a really nice overview of each subject that one picks. So, for example, at the start, I had no idea about economy and what to consider looking at like economy and stuff like that. And I learned so much how the market behaves and such. Or in biology, biology was probably one of the most insightful classes I've ever took. Since I enjoyed it a lot, I had a great teacher. Um, Also the time management skills. Like now I know, you know, now I know how and when to start writing, how and stuff like that. Mm. Definitely, IB prepares for college as I know a lot of people who are in college who did not take IB and they are struggling writing like 1,000 word assignments while we had to write a 3,000 word essay, the extended essay, and stuff like that. It's like I think it just gives you a lot of working skills as well as like general overview of stuff.
There's also one thing we didn't talk about is the difference that makes that we have six different subjects, all of which we have to study somewhat intensely. Like
No, no.
where in AP you just pick one or two that are really important to your future. In IB, it teaches you different subjects, different approaches. It gives you different lessons in these subjects and gives you a more broad overview of the world in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. Let's get to the thing that this podcast or this special episode is all about, the future advice for IB students. What they should or shouldn't do, guys. Let's hear some do's and don'ts for future IB students. What advice do we want to pass on?
Well, my biggest advice I'd probably say is choose your subjects wisely. I feel like many people underestimate or overestimate, one of those two, their own skills, and sometimes end up either having too difficult subjects for them, or on the other hand, having unfulfilled potential that I know many students could have fulfilled. And I think the choice of subjects is the most important part of everything.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that you have to do right away, immediately, and that will definitely shape your IB experience for the next 2 years. So you should really sit down and decide what is it you want. Do that before you plan anything else about IB. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? How should your future look? Because once you set down a path in IB, it's difficult to change things. For me personally, I would say my biggest advice is, as cliche as it sounds, don't procrastinate. All the stress that IB is put on by yourself. It's not as
True.
difficult. Everyone
True.
can do it with the support we get. But if you leave everything to the last seconds, that's where your stress, that's where the pressure, that's where this IB hell will come in. Just do things earlier. It's not difficult from subjects you've studied before.
Yeah, I think yeah, time management, as Ilya said, is also a very important part of our whole IB. Uh, Finding that time to even start the assignments, to do your work. I know many students struggle with that. I myself struggled with that, and yeah, that's what makes IB. You get a workload for the 2 years, and you have to decide it on your own when to do what, and no one's gonna be there to tell you when to do what, and therefore,
Yeah, I think that's the independence that IB teaches you to. It teaches you to um, have to make decisions on yourself. There will always be support, but you have to decide yourself when to do what and how to do it and plan out things yourself.
yes.
What about you, Hayden? You have any great advice?
Honestly, I don't think so. I'm not that type of person to like give advice because obviously everybody is different. But one one thing that I'd recommend for future IB students is that um don't get too overwhelmed by the work. I guess just like go out and enjoy yourself. I don't think that you need to sacrifice these 2 years like staying in and just like cramming all the time. I'll definitely aim for high results, but don't forget to really take care of you mentally and connect with the outside nature and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually good advice. Actually good advice. I think IB is this offers this interesting concept, and out of all the programs that our school at least offered, the APs, just the normal QSI diploma as well as the IB diploma, I feel that it prepares you for life the most, prepares you for your future the most, and helps you grow as well.
So, guys, for the
Yeah,
future students that are thinking right now, should I take a B? Should I take IB? Should I not take IB? Should I take AP? What do you guys say? Should they? Is it worth it? Does it prepare you well, or is it just a bit over exaggerated?
I think IB is always worth it.
yeah,
With the
it is
right
always worth.
preparation, yes, with the right preparation, with the time management, and the right support as well, of course. You have to have support from your teachers, your family members, your schoolmates. Uh, IB can be really nice, a very interesting experience, and also give you the opportunity to grow in life.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, is there anything else you guys really want to let out? Anything about IB, or do we call it an end for here for now?
Oh, I don't
I
have
think
anything
that's
to add. Yeah, I think we went through most of it, and yeah,
All right, guys. To our listeners, I hope you enjoyed this IB podcast, our wraps, our final thoughts on IB after our exams. I hope maybe it gave you something for your future. Maybe it helped you decide whether you want to take IB or not. And if you do want to take IB, I hope this will help you somewhat on your journey.
yes, yes.
yep.
I hope you choose wisely. Uh, and for those who don't choose IB, don't worry. Life without IB isn't that bad either. Thank you guys.
Thank you for
Thank you.
listening.